episode is a powerful one. I have got a special guest who truly embodies what it means to lead, build, and take up space in this industry. Today's guest is Hannah Hurckes, founder and CEO of Boss Lady Logistics and an independent agency owner with Landstar. Welcome, Hannah. I'm so glad to have you. Yes, Hannah, you are known for doing what most people avoid, solving real problems, building strong teams, and creating businesses that actually perform, right? So I would love to know the story, how you started in logistics and what brought you here.
Yeah, absolutely. So like many people in logistics, I kind of fell face first into it and didn't look back. My brother used to drive trucks, so I got a firsthand look at what it actually takes to run a truck and the obstacles that you have to overcome when you are a truck driver. So that made me super passionate about providing jobs for truck drivers in a way that was unique to my skill set. I joined Landstar as a freight broker agent in 2016. We've been going strong for 10 years, and I value every second of it, and we're changing people's lives.
Yes,
so
I love it. Already 10 years. That's when I moved to America, 2016. So that's amazing. So I love the name of your company, Boss Lady Logistics, because of course I'm a lady too. So how did you decide that name?
Yeah, and everyone in logistics is a boss lady, let me just tell you, because we have some serious hurdles to overcome in this industry. So the way that the name came about was that we were having a lot of people, drivers, customers, etc., calling into the company, to my dispatchers, my operations manager, having issues, escalating it and saying, who's your boss? Let me talk to him. Where is he? Bring him on the phone. And so it was this just natural rhetoric that they were assuming the boss was a man. And so we decided to say, no, let's put the kibosh on that. The boss is a lady. And so what's funny is that people still call in to Boss Lady Logistics and ask for him. And people have asked for my boss as well, which I think is even more comical on top of it. But, one person at a time, representation so matters. I want to be a force in the industry and show young women who are trying to join this industry or any other male-dominated industry that they can do it, and they can, like you said at the beginning, take up space and not be
exactly and be a boss lady, right? And when they ask for a boss,
Absolutely.
You say, "I'm the boss." You have to, right? I love it. So you're working with a Landstar network. It is a massive capacity. So how do you guys maintain quality and 99% claim-free delivery rate?
Yeah, and that is something that we definitely pride ourselves on, our on-time pickup, our on-time delivery, and our cargo-free claims. Partnering with Landstar is, in my opinion, the best place for me in my business. We definitely do a lot of niche freight. Landstar is the safest in the industry. They have 1.1 accidents per million miles, where the next closest carrier is at 7. And safety, being a mother of 3 children, safety is of the utmost importance in every part of my life. And so coming to Landstar was kind of a no-brainer when it came to safety, because they have the best safety record, and the drivers obviously embody that. The BCOs that we work with regularly are the cream of the crop. They are the best in the industry. They are the safest. And it comes down to experience, knowledge, strategic thinking, and also equipment. Lots of equipment out there is outdated or doesn't have all the safety standards that we have in our fleet at Landstar. And when it comes to, even like the tires on your trailers, you have to really invest in your equipment in order to have lower cargo claims. And when it comes to, selling this to customers, I always like to talk about price versus cost. You can definitely go with a cheaper carrier that maybe doesn't have as high of a bar, let's say, for their equipment as we do and for their drivers as we do, and you'll end up running into $250,000 cargo claims. Whereas you can put it on our truck and it's going to get there safely with, barely any issues along the way.
I know that Landstar has a lot of strict requirements as how to become an owner-operator and safety, as you mentioned, and equipment, right? Can you share like what are their requirements to become an owner operator? Because I think that you based off owner operators, right?
Yes, yeah. So Landstar does not have any of their own drivers. They do not do forced dispatch. Every driver within the Landstar network is an owner operator, which means they own their own truck and possibly their own trailer. If they don't have their own trailer, they are able to utilize Landstar's trailer network, which bodes well also for us agents because we are able to do drop trailers at many of the customers' facilities, which is a huge, huge asset in this day and age. Landstar drivers also, have vetting with regards to hazmat certification. All of our drivers are hazmat certified, tanker endorsed. So when you're becoming an owner operator within Landstar, know that you're going to have a clean driving record, obviously. I can't speak specifically to the ins and outs because I'm not in the actual carrier qualifications department, but if you are interested in, learning more about Landstar or learning what it takes to be an owner operator for them, I'm definitely a person that, can help people in that direction and point you to the right people.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Hannah, I feel like leadership and confidence in you. So what's something people get completely wrong about leadership in this industry?
Wow, what a great question. So something that people get wrong about leadership in this industry is that you have to have a certain level of experience within the actual trucking world. And that's not necessarily true. I have hired leaders in my company that came from other industries and are just phenomenal operations people, and we have taught them the freight world. And so really what you're looking for when you're looking for leaders or you're trying to assess your own leadership capabilities, we need to look at a couple of things. And it's not necessarily your skill, because skills can be taught, right? We can all go online and YouTube anything, learn anything, as long as you have the retention capabilities within your memory to just keep it in your mind. Any skill can be taught. What I look for in leaders and what I see a lot of successful leaders exemplify is strong virtues and strong values and being true to themselves. And I'll give you an example as to how we did that in our business. So I had a customer, I want to say it was maybe 7 years ago at this point. So when we were kind of first starting out, we had our feet wet in the industry. We were established. We had a good staff, but we were kind of coming across these hurdles that we had never seen before. And one hurdle that we crossed was a customer making a comment about our dispatch team who were women with regards to they don't know what they're doing, they're women. And this was said to one of our drivers who was currently on site picking up a load. I stuck firm and had a very open and honest conversation with that customer about professionalism and how we need to stay professional and we need to make sure that biases like that stay out of the workplace. And so my team being able to see that, assess it, not take it personally, which I think is the biggest thing, right? And then bring it to leadership, and leadership was able to handle it in a way that was professional and honest and open and transparent. Cut to, we don't do business with that customer anymore. But, I will always try to maintain relationships with people, even if unprofessionalism does happen. But if as leaders, we are sticking to our guns and sticking to our values and holding tight on our virtues and not acting out of fear, I feel like that is the best recipe for a leader.
It. Also, I feel like you have to always stay in touch. Maybe the conversation you had with this person changed his perspective, right? Maybe you became a better person. Yes,
absolutely.
So I know that you wrote a book as a leadership reset, right? What pushed you to write it, and who is it really for, and how we can find this book? I know it's Amazon, but tell me everything about that book.
Yeah, great question. So I'm so excited about this. It is for leaders at any stage of growth. And that is even for mothers. If you are in any type of leadership position in your life, which I'll assume that everyone is in charge of something in their life. And sometimes we just need to hit that reset button. And that's kind of what I was feeling over the last couple years is, we scaled the business to a certain size and I felt a calling to help people. that is, just what my values and virtues hold, is that I want to show, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, I want to show other women that this is possible and you really can do anything. And that's what the Leadership Reset does. It helps people recenter themselves, reset their leadership, and really dig deep into what is my responsibility versus what is not my responsibility. Are you acting as an operator or are you acting as a leader? Which a lot of people kind of mesh the two, especially in the freight world. I know that I was an operator for a really long time, actually like fielding the calls with dispatch. I've got years of experience of talking to drivers, booking loads, talking to customers, making, scheduling delivery appointments, anything and everything I've done in this industry. And when you have to shift your mindset from being an operator day to day to actually just being a leader, it is kind of a hard pill to swallow. You want to feel valuable. You want to feel like you are contributing to the team. I want to be the boss who is linking arms with my employees and walking together, as opposed to, sitting on my chariot and whipping the horses. And so when you are shifting your mindset from being an operator to just leadership, it is a real shift in your mind, body, and soul that has to happen in order to push you in that direction. And so what my hope is for this book is that leaders can take it and, it's more of an interactive workbook. So you actually can use it in real time with a real issue that you're having right now, which I think is incredible, because a lot of leadership books don't really touch on, can I write down actually what's happening in my life and evaluate it specifically so that I can find ways to change and grow and evolve and learn. And so that's what this book does. And yeah, you can find it. I have a Stand store. It's a link on my LinkedIn profile, or you could also order it on Amazon. I will say, if you order it from my Stand store, the paperback copy, I will personally sign it and write you a note, so you'll get a little something extra with that. There's also a digital version, so if it's not something you want to do, actually buying a book and you want to have it to be able to reuse it, so you can keep reprinting it if you wanted to, or fill it out online, there's also a digital copy.
I should get the Stand store one, definitely. I would love to support Hannah. So we are both in male-dominated industry, and I think that we did amazing stuff. And what advice would you give to women? Practical, I know that you talked about the book and you shared that in your book as well, but what are the things that you would advise to a woman who are trying to step into leadership roles right now, or just in logistics general?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is overcoming that fear. And that fear is going to be there always. It's about seeing it, recognizing it, acknowledging it, and telling it that you love it, because it is a part of you for a reason, and then going on beyond it, right? There's been a lot of times in my life where I have been afraid to do things, and it has held me back in ways that, I couldn't even tell you the compounding interest on the things that I was fearful about. And I do believe that as women, we are conditioned in this society to be more reserved, not speak up, for fear of, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about, or, oh, she's just a young woman. And that was what I got a lot. I was in my 20s when I started my business, and I got a lot of, she's young, she's a woman, she doesn't really know. And I do believe that men, even at younger ages, are just taken more seriously because of their gender. And so knowing our quote unquote disabilities, right, then when we go into an industry, and locating it, acknowledging it, and overcoming that fear, I feel like is the best thing that anyone can do.
I agree with you. I love it. That's how it happened with me too. I was so scared to drive that big truck, and I had to overcome that fear, which led me to where I am today, right? If I didn't drive this truck, I would have never been here. So overcoming fear is very, important. And I feel like the things that you are fearful the most, that's the exact things that you have to do to go to the next level. So I really appreciate you sharing and encouraging women who want to get into logistics or leadership positions. Hannah, you are also very big on results and execution. What does actually moving the needle look like in logistics in everyday business life?
Yeah, so reevaluation of your business plan regularly. That is how you go. Trucking is an industry where the sky's the limit and your only limitations are yourself. And so if you have the infrastructure or the plan for the infrastructure, you're going to find a lot more results in your success than if you don't write it down. And I'm a huge proponent in just writing everything down. Another thing that me and my team do is we do yearly planning and quarterly planning. And I encourage that for any small business to do quarterly planning and yearly planning and set 2-3 goals for the quarter that are attainable, that are reasonable, that you know you can achieve, assign them to people, and then get it done. And I think that writing those goals down and sharing them with your team and then keeping each other accountable is really how you're able to scale and grow a business in a really fast way.
Also, there is something special when you write it down, right? I think it's even in Bible that says like write it down and plan it and execute it. I love it, Hannah. So how do you guys keep each other accountable? Can you please bring me like examples, practical?
Yeah. So we do have a performance review program that we utilize. And we also have a little bit of motivation built into it as well. And so when someone achieves something, everyone can it's kind of like a Facebook or a social media platform where teammates can go in and post their successes. And I encourage all of my employees to do that. Post your successes. Even if it's something small, like I covered this hard load that like I didn't know I was going to be able to cover and it took me 5 days to cover and I finally got a carrier for it. You know, I encourage my team to share all of their successes, whether they're small or whether they're large. And then we go in and we celebrate each other. And that type of rapport between employees, between coworkers is so, so important, especially because a lot of my employees are remote. And so to keep them connected digitally and cheering each other on is the best way for us to do it, because we want to be able to go in there and post our successes and say, hey, I did this great thing, or I achieved my quota, or I hit the goal that Hannah set for me, or I hit the goal that I set for myself. And then we all just celebrate it. And it's incredible the support when we all back each other.
Celebrating each other. That's very important. So Hannah, I want to quickly shout out to my podcast sponsor, Digital Permit Book. If you are still running around with messy paperwork, chasing documents, and struggling with compliance and safety, this is exactly what you need. Digital Permit Book helps tracking companies keep everything organized, accessible, and ready when it matters the most, especially during DOT inspections. So check them out. And Hannah, my last question would be, if someone listening right now is ready to level up, what is the first move they need to make?
Wow, let me think about that for a minute. If you are ready to level up, I'm going to go with the Nike slogan, just do it. Just do it. The time is right now. There will never be a perfect time. Whatever you're planning won't be perfect before you get started. Just put it out there. Go do it. You know, put yourself in the spotlight if that's what you're doing. You know, just get it done. Do it now.
Hannah. Thank you so much for this powerful energy. I love the energy, honesty, and how you showed up today and for this industry. And I would encourage everyone who is trying to get into leadership, check out Hannah's book. And for everyone who listening, if you are serious about building something real, this is exactly the kind of conversations and leadership you need to be paying attention to. So as always, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. And Hannah, thank you so much for joining me today.